Hello, Elk Grove Unified students, families, and staff. I'm Santi Pinkerton.
And I'm Sandeep Dosanjh, and welcome to another episode of EGU News.
So our focus on EGU News is healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy learning. And we also provide you with updates from the district, the county, and or the state. So today's episode features healthy bodies. And we'll have an interview with healthy eating and during this time that we're home, and we'll also share an air alert message for those of you who are thinking of getting out and exercising outdoors. And we also have a few updates from the district as well as the county and the state. So let's get started. Sandy?
Thank you, Zanti. In fact, I want to begin with your interview on healthy eating. I know I've been trying very hard to stay fit and eat well while staying home.
Yeah, me too. It was a great interview, so let's take a look. All right, today we have Miss Ann Gaffney. She's our district registered dietitian. Hi, Ann.
Hi, Xanthi.
Good to have you with us today. So as part of EGU News, we're talking about healthy bodies, healthy minds, and healthy learning. And last week, we had an opportunity to speak to some of our registered nurses about the importance of sleep and getting enough sleep. And today, we're able to focus more on healthy eating and the importance of nutrition during this time. So, Ann, we have a few questions for you. I'm sure there's parents who are asking and wondering, how can we, try to be healthier eaters at home, and how can we encourage our kids to eat vegetables, those kinds of things. So we're just going to dive into it and start with some questions. The first question out there is, are there any special nutrition concerns people should be aware of during this time?
Just like always, having a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, getting good sleep keeps our bodies strong and our immune system strong. So as far as healthy eating, I'd encourage people to focus on having a balanced diet, looking at moderation of their portion sizes, and then looking for a variety of foods. Don't just have the same thing every day. One of the best models for doing that is called the My Plate, and it looks at those 5 food groups. So it looks at how much fruits we need to have, how many vegetables, looks at your grain group, your protein foods, and then also the dairy group. And by choosing the foods from all 5 of those food groups, we're going to get the nutrients that our bodies need.
Oh, excellent. Okay. All right. So the 5 food groups, things that we'll talk about more on. So with that, are there any resources that you would recommend?
Yeah, so actually one of the best resources, the actual website is called choosemyplate.gov, or if someone just searches for My Plate, it will come up. But it's research-based, so it's reliable information. No one's trying to sell you something, so they're just trying to give you healthy information. And it has nutrition information there for all ages, so it really fits for everybody. One of the great things about it is you can come up with a personalized eating plan. So it's almost like meeting with your individual dietitian. If you put in your height and your weight and your gender, your age, how much exercise you're doing, it'll come up with a personalized meal plan for you that shows you how many servings and the portion sizes of each of those servings that you need from all the 5 food groups to keep your body healthy. The other thing that it has, they've added a special section on there on food planning during the pandemic, which I found really helpful.
That's fabulous. So again, we'll put it down here in the area below. It's the choosemyplate.gov, and that sounds awesome. Be able to create your own meal plan, and I love the idea that they also have recommendations there too for during this time of the pandemic. So wonderful. All right, let's move on to another question out there. What about our students? Do you have specific things that you are concerned with our kids that, what are parents asking you about?
You know, one of the most common questions I get, and I get asked this one quite often from parents, is about veggies. How do you get your children to eat vegetables, or my kids just won't eat vegetables? And the first thing I would tell them is to try not to worry. You know, we all like what we're used to eating, and we're creatures of habit, and it can take kids a while to build up that habit of being a vegetable eater. And when you go back to look at that My Plate, half of the plate is the fruits and vegetables, and they put both of those on the same side of the plate together because a lot of the vitamins that are in the fruit group are in the vegetable group, and vice versa. So if your kids just won't eat the vegetables, offer more fruits to them in a variety so they're getting the vitamins that they need. You know, you can't force somebody to eat something that they don't want to eat. And the more we try to force someone, the more they're going to want to push back. So the more it becomes a battle. So instead, you want to offer those vegetables and fruits to our kids. We want to model good eating. So let them see you enjoying them. Talk about how delicious they are and how you like them. I'd also try cooking them some different ways, or maybe having them more raw. Kids like them in different ways, and the flavors come out with different preparations.
Okay.
You know, there's a division of roles when we come to our jobs as parents in feeding our kids and what our kids' jobs are. So as a parent, our role is to offer healthy meals, to offer them on a regular basis. You know, when it comes to feeding our kids, there's really a division of jobs. We have, the parents have their jobs and the kids have their job. So with the roles that we play. And for the parents, our job is to offer healthy foods, offer them at a specific meal time. So we have a regular schedule for our kids. And then our kids' job is to decide how much they're going to eat and what they're going to eat. And we can't force them to do that. And by offering those foods on a regular basis to our kids, they're going to develop their own healthy eating habits. And we just need to trust in them that they're going to make good choices over time.
Okay.
The other concern that commonly comes up is with calcium. A lot of kids aren't getting their calcium needs met. We need to be having 3 servings from the dairy group every day. So whether that's milk, yogurt, and cheese. And if they go back to that website, it'll show them what the portion sizes is. So for example, when I say a serving from the dairy group is like 1 cup of milk. And they want to have 3 of those during the day. So making sure our kids get enough calcium in their diet is important. If someone for some reason can't have, maybe they're allergic to milk, then their best choice is going to be to choose soy milk. But all that information is on that website.
Okay.
And the other question I get from parents often is about sugar. They'd be concerned about, you know, how much sugar is in their child's cereal, or how much sugar overall are they getting in their diet. And when they've looked at kids' intake, we find that the biggest contributor to sugar in a child's diet is from their beverages, sugar-sweetened beverages. So anything that's added sugar in our beverages is going to give us a lot of extra sugar in the diet. And so just choosing more milk, water, and even fruit juice can count as a good beverage, but we want to limit the portion size of that and keep it to about a 4-ounce portion.
Great. Okay. So, and we've talked about the 5 food groups, the importance there, the My Plate plan that you can go to choosemyplate.gov, create your own healthy eating plan, and that parents need to be able to also work with their kids to model that healthy eating. And yeah, veggies can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but like you said, I like how you brought up there's more than one way to prepare a vegetable. Some kids like them raw, some kids like them cooked with something. So I think
Or
that
roasted.
Exactly, and I think that website will have some great opportunities, and we'll make sure we post that website out there as well. I like how you talked about calcium, the importance of it, as well as you know, what to do about sugar. So on that part about sugar, you know, some of the people I've talked to, friends and even myself, we have concerns about gaining weight during this time when we're all at home, and you know, people might be baking more or they're stress eating. So what's your recommendation?
Sure. So anytime someone wants to make a change in their eating habits, or they're concerned about what they're eating, the first place to start is with food records. You know, nobody really wants to keep a food journal. It's not very fun to do. It's hard to remember to do it, but it really does give us great information. It helps you become more aware of when you're eating and how much you're eating. So that's the first place I would start. Then once you've looked at that, you can sort of think about, well, you know, gosh, when I took that break at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock and again at 11 o'clock and had a little snack, was I really just needing to stand up and stretch and maybe get a glass of water and maybe really wasn't hungry. So they can sort of try and figure out why they're eating at different times. With that, I'd also look at the portion sizes. If someone's really concerned about keeping their weight down, oftentimes our portion sizes can creep up. So see how much you're eating. And then go back and focus on those 5 food groups. You know, I don't put foods into categories of good foods and bad foods because I think all foods can fit into our diet. Instead, I put them into categories of everyday, occasional, and seldom foods. So focus on trying to get those everyday foods in. And if I'm working on my fresh fruits and vegetables, my whole grains, my lean proteins, and my low-fat dairy products, I'm going to be fuller and not as hungry for those kind of snacky foods that might be laying around. But then make room for some of those occasional foods. So having a cookie occasionally fits into my grain group, or having ice cream, which goes into the dairy group. Doing those foods occasionally can definitely fit into a healthy diet. And then just watch how often you're having the seldom foods. I wouldn't eliminate them totally from my diet, but having seldom foods are okay. But again, just not very often. So a seldom food would be things like maybe your bacon or candy, those things that they aren't giving us any nutritional value, but some things that we enjoy occasionally.
Right, enjoy especially. Well, Anne, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to be off to do my everyday food, which is my lunch salad, and then hopefully I can have some of those seldom ones this week. So I'll decide what I'm going to do. I love gelato, so. I want to thank you, Anne Gaffney. She is our registered dietitian here at Elk Grove Unified School District. Thank you very much, and we wish you a great weekend.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you. You know, really, it was a fun interview, and I definitely looked forward to having my salad afterwards.
And since we're on the topic of healthy bodies, with today's temperatures expected to be near triple digits, the air quality is also expected to reach the unhealthy for sensitive groups condition. Today, our district nurse sent out a reminder air alert, even because with distance learning, we need to keep healthy and safe in all different types of scenarios.
Exactly, yes. And in the alert today, we want to let students and parents know as well that during this time, outside activities, they're okay for short periods of time, but to avoid intense physical outside activities. So, and just to check the current air conditions on a regular basis, especially as the temperature heats up, by visiting sparetheair.com.
Pretty easy to remember that URL. Thank you so much, Santi. So let's switch gears a little bit to the district update. In this week's district update, we provide you with a brief overview of the district's response to the COVID-19 pandemic since the school closures in early March.
Right. We also note that the threat of a highly contagious virus continues to be of a concern for our community. And now doubly troubling is the financial impact of the state's emergency response to the COVID-19 crisis.
That's right. And yesterday, the California Department of Finance announced a projected $54 billion deficit with a potential $18 billion negative impact for K through 12 or K through 14 rather schools, which also includes our school district and school districts around the state and community colleges.
Exactly. So news of the state's dire financial situation will have implications for Elk Grove Unified. In preparation for any reductions in funding and in tandem with conducting distance learning, preparing for virtual graduations, and planning for summer school, the district is also preparing its budget.
So, Zanti, the next critical date Elk Grove Unified leaders anxiously await for is the announcement of the governor's May revise of the state's budget, which is scheduled to be released next Thursday, May 14th.
Exactly. And once that district receives the funding information from that May revise, the governors may revise, then a final budget will be prepared and presented to the board for approval.
Okay, so let's take a moment to recap some of the school district's actions in response to the COVID-19 crisis. On March 7th, we announced the closure of all Elk Grove Unified Schools. March 9th, began providing meals services through the district or throughout the district. And then on March 20th, we announced a memorandum of understanding with teachers for distance learning.
That's right, and it just got more and more after that. On March 24th, we released the district timeline for distance learning preparation. Then right on March 30th, we launched the Chromebook checkout distribution plan and started getting distributions out, as well as with the hotspot distribution. Then on April 9th, we helped prepare students, parents, and families for distance learning with information and resources.
And April 16th, we launched distance learning with secondary schools, followed by April 20th launch for elementary schools. April 23rd, we announced the graduation plan for our high school graduates. April 29th, we announced our district budget update.
That's right. And then on May 1st, we announced the extension of the county shelter-in-place order, which was supposed to go through May 22nd. We're still waiting to see if that's going to be changed or not. And then just yesterday, May 7th, California Department of Finance announced the $54 million projected deficit for the state. Now, moving forward and for future actions, we are going to be on May 19th is when we're scheduled to have another EGUSD board meeting. It'll be via Zoom again. And then on May 29th, that's the last day of school for all schools, your favorite date. And what else is happening after that?
So after the last day of school, we have June 8th will be the start of summer school for credit recovery. And then July 16th is the scheduled first day of school for year-round elementary schools. And then August 13th is the scheduled first day of school for traditional schools and modified traditional schools.
Exactly. I know a lot of people were asking you and asking us, can you please clarify on who's starting on which date? It's something that our community, but it's not
technically the 2020-2021 school year begins in July and goes until June. However, the start date for the students is the part that people weren't sure about. So hopefully this helped provide a little bit more clarity to our families.
That's right. And those calendars are available too on our district's website, egusd.net. They just have to go to the bottom of the webpage and then they'll see the calendar. These calendars are already there. So thank you for the clarifications. As we all get through this weekly, the weekly changes in our lives with the economy and to our students' education, Elk Grove Unified School District, district staff and school staff, they remain committed to our schools and to student learning, teaching, and counseling.
That's right. And student support services staff also continue to reach out to students and families to provide resources and offer assistance.
Absolutely. So we want to thank everyone, all of the students and parents and families for remaining steadfast, patient, and resolute with your child's education and health and safety.
That's right. So we're going to switch gears from the district update to provide you with the county and state update. For the county, as of today, May 8th, according to the Sacramento County Department of Public Health, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sacramento County is now at 1,160.
Oh, wow. Well, by age group, the confirmed COVID-19 cases are as follows. In ages 0 through 17, there are 21. In ages 18 to 49, there are 513. In ages 50 through 64, there are 277, and in ages 65 and over, there are 349. There are also 50 individuals that have now unfortunately passed away from complications of COVID-19, and those individuals were either 65 and over or had underlying health conditions.
And across California, there are now 62,512 total cases of COVID-19 with 2,585 deaths.
Sandeep, I understand that the drive-through testing, a lot of people are out there and they want to know, well, can I still get tested and whatnot? And I understand that the drive-through testing has expanded on who can be tested. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, great question. So anyone that's 18 years and older living in Sacramento County can now get tested for COVID-19 simply by completing the screening survey at projectbaseline.com. Once the screener is completed, participants will be eligible for an appointment at the mobile testing site at CalExpo. It's no longer symptom driven. So the testing is free for anyone that would like to go get tested for COVID-19.
Okay, and it's free. It's free. So that's awesome. A lot of people worry about that. So what if someone has severe symptoms? Can they participate in the drive-through testing?
Yeah, I'm happy that you brought that up. So this testing site is not intended for people experiencing severe symptoms such as severe cough, severe shortness of breath, severe fever, or other concerning symptoms may need more immediate medical care. Keep in mind that there's no medical care provided on site and no walk-in appointments will be allowed. It's only by appointment. Participants must come to their appointment in a car that has windows that do roll up in order to protect both the patient and the on-site workers.
Okay, all right, thank you. And before we end today's broadcast, we want to thank all of our educators. So please enjoy this creative video expressing our appreciation for everyone who is an educator, is a teacher. It's just been, it's been a long few months here, a couple of months. So we want to make sure also everyone just continue to please stay safe and stay healthy. So that's it for today's edition of EGU News. Make sure you subscribe to us at youtube.com/Elk Grove Unified. I'm Santhi Pinkerton.
And I'm Sandeep Dosanjh. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, teachers. Written and illustrated by me, Ms. Kissinger. To my fellow educators, a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Especially during this time and many lessons to tweak. From classrooms to computers, we're all doing our best. Between Google Classrooms and Zoom calls, we're all a little stressed. Even though it's important for us to stay home and apart, it's amazing to see our students stay in our hearts. Thank you, teachers, for all the hard work that you do. Keeping us connected is what will get us through. Let's all send virtual hugs to our amazing teachers, who really are the very best creatures.